Hi, thank you so much for joining us on the FIZ show. My name is Chimwemwe Lungu. On today's episode, I am joined by a very, very beautiful woman by the name of Mpeza Mbewe. Mpeza, thank you so much for joining us on the FIZ show today.
Afternoon, Chimwemwe. It's great to be here. It's definitely an honor to feature on your show.
Thank you. And just fully introduce yourself. Just in case there's something else I might have left out, just give us a full introduction of who Mpeza Mbewe really is.
Okay. So Mpeza Mbewe is a marketing and communications professional. My career spans over 20 years. I'm what you call a dinosaur in the industry. So I've been on the market, or I've been in marketing for a very long time, and I've worked for different organizations in different industries, and these range from furniture store to the banking industry. I've also been in the audit firms, and then I found myself in the telecommunications space when I joined MTN Zambia almost 10 years ago. So I've worked in various places, and I've had an opportunity to interact and deal with different segments and as well as industries. So it's been an exciting journey.
Talking about 20 years of experience, how does it make you feel to be finally recognized? First of all, congratulations on being awarded the top salesperson of the year award at the Internet Providers Award. Being awarded the Internet Providers Award. How does it make you feel to finally be recognized for your contribution to Zambia's technological sector after 20 years?
Wow, it was overwhelming. Initially, I actually didn't know that I had been nominated, and somebody shared the link with me. They were like, "Can you please vote?" And when I saw it, I was like, "Oh, my name is over there." And I was very, very humbled. So I made it a point that obviously I attended the gala dinner. And when they actually called out my name, it was so surreal, because I was like, finally somebody is watching.
Yes.
Having been on the industry, like I said, I've been very passionate over time about what I do. I love what I do in terms of the marketing and communication space. I love connecting with people. So marketing is a very wide field, and I love connecting with people because part of my work is connecting with people. And it's also doing good PR, good networking. So it just made me feel like somebody out there is watching, and they feel that I am good enough. So like I said, it was really overwhelming, but it also signified the journey that I've taken. And it signified how much we shouldn't stop. You shouldn't be discouraged. You should continue regardless of where you are. Because at some point, and this is throughout my career, you feel like you're not making a difference. And obviously my objective was to make a difference. I wanted to make a difference in the different organizations that I worked for. So this really was a testament to just how much work I have put in over the years, because it wasn't just about the current win. It was about everything, the entire process, which a lot of people tend to forget as we're growing in our careers. It's a process, and it doesn't mean you're going to be successful immediately, but the more you pump in, the more work you put in, there's definitely going to be results.
And talking about making an impact, what significance does this award hold for you, Mpeza? And also, how does it reflect your personal journey, profession-wise, and also your achievements?
So in terms of impact, I feel that this particular recognition just shows how much, like I mentioned, the work you put in, the dedication, the amount of people, the number of people who support you along the way. We meet different people along the way. So there are people who are supporting you, there are people who are rooting for you. It also gives testament to how far we've gone as women in the tech space. We shouldn't neglect that fact, because initially, the technological space was really reserved for men. Even when you talk about people being as working as technicians or going to do engineering, it was really a career or a profession that everybody thought was just for men. So to come and be recognized in this male-dominated space definitely does give me a lot of pride. So in as much as I am not a technician, I had to actually learn what they do. I had to understand how to connect routers,
Yes.
how certain things work,
Really?
how the tech space
Really?
works. Yes.
Okay.
So you have to understand how technological solutions work. If we put a camera here, how is it going to connect to the control room?
Okay.
So all those things, I would call them job and training. However, it still gives you that pride to say that I actually managed to communicate these solutions to people and to customers and to stakeholders who are outside of the business, but I'm able to make them understand. So it was very significant. Looking at my career path as well, I obviously focused on core marketing, and I mentioned I've worked in different industries. So this really was about the support as well that I've received, not just from the people I've worked with, but even from people like my children. Sometimes I remember being in different industries where I would take work home,
Yes.
and I'll be working through the night, and they would come and sit in my bed and they'll help me sort things out if it's something that's practical and easy. So it's really about how women have evolved, and how we've taken the seat as well to say, I'm going to be in the boardroom now, or I'm going to do work that has been predominantly viewed as a man's space or a man's job.
Yes. Talking about women evolving, I love that part. Your expertise, Mpeza, spans across various industries, from communications to business administration and also marketing. How do you feel effective storytelling can drive business growth and also stakeholder engagement for different companies and businesses?
Okay. So, I mean, storytelling now is a new concept that has come on the market, and everybody is talking about storytelling. But it's been there for a long time, but I think it's just being emphasized now. Storytelling is really about how we create the human face of a brand. A lot of people, I think it was a global move that happened. We saw when we had these oil spills, people started being a little bit more conscious about their environment. They started creating missions and visions of how they want their business to be seen. They didn't want to be seen as irresponsible organizations. So I think the storytelling period was more emphasized through that space. People started talking about, this is what our business stands for. And if we tell the story right, or if we tell the story in a particular way, when people understand why we're in business, we're going to then be able to attract the people who we want to be affiliated to our organization. We're also going to manage to retain them. And I think those are some of the significant things that we should highlight about storytelling. It really just creates that connection between the organization and the people we call our customers or the people we call our stakeholders. So it's important to understand that as a storyteller, make people understand why you're in business.
Yes.
And like I said, you create that that connection, you create that personality for your brand. And we focus so much on creating that personality because we know that there are people who are going to appeal to the brand, who are going to want to be affiliated to the brand. Let's not even talk about the soccer fans. When you look at how people are so committed, just when you see it, there's a new jersey that has come out. Everybody wants to be affiliated with the soccer team that they support. They don't support it because they're great at scoring or because they've had a great season. They support it because something about the story, something about how that story originated appeals to them as human beings. And that is why I think storytelling has become so important for us as marketing professionals, as people who are even selling our personal brands, to emphasize just where you're coming from, what your personality means or what it stands for, and where you want to go. You will definitely have that following. You'll definitely create content for the people who are buying from you, because it's also not about buy one, get one free anymore.
Yes.
It's a holistic, how can I put it, product that you're selling, and the personality stands out as number one.
Amazing. So in your 20 years experience and also your expertise in some of these areas and also some of these sectors, how has that also impacted your approach to sales and marketing now that you are here in your 20 years experience? How has that really come together?
So first of all, like I mentioned, I've been in marketing and communications, but I was actually very happy to have a sales role when I was sitting in MTN, when I was working for MTN. So I found myself heading the SME segment, and that actually gave me an opportunity to understand the sales environment and to understand the impact that marketing actually had on the sales environment. So when you look at how people are selling, how we're communicating our products and services, it's important to understand that the sales component is just a small component. Around the sales environment, you need to really dig in and understand your customers. You need to understand why they're buying from you. You need to understand what actually triggers them to buy, or what bottlenecks are they trying to resolve. And that is why I'm so privileged to have actually been in the tech space, because it gives me an opportunity to think about bottlenecks. My approach to the way I see things now is totally different from before I worked in the tech space. When I'm looking at, okay, I have to climb the stairs, I always think about, is there an easier way to do it if I'm going to meet somebody? Should we be communicating by mail? Is it saving the organization money? Is it something that maybe there's a quicker way to do it? So I think having had that appreciation, it really changes the way you see things overall, and not just the way you see things from a marketing and sales perspective.
Yes. So what are some of the challenges that are being faced in the technological sector in Zambia, and going forward, how are you going to help address some of those challenges that are being faced? Any things that we as the general public can look forward to when it comes to some of the things that you're going to be doing going forward to just help address some of these challenges that are being faced in the technology sector in Zambia?
So I think there's one of the key issues obviously is around the digital divide. We need to understand that for us to advance, we need people to be acquainted with technology. So this is not just people who are sitting in the urban areas. We need people in the rural areas to also be acquainted with technology. A lot of the things that are coming out of some of our innovation hubs are these young people, these enthusiastic young people who have solutions that we could actually ride on. But they may not be able to sell them in our environment because they don't have the market, because there's a limited pocket of people who are actually using digital or technological solutions. So I think one of the things that obviously has to improve is around how many people have access. Yes, let it be obviously through laptops, telephones. There are different gadgets that would obviously the masses would benefit if they could become cheaper, if they could become more accessible. So maybe not necessarily cheaper, but more accessible. And there are different ways that people can access devices, either through maybe loans or being able to get something on lay-by. So we need the environment to be friendly for everybody to access. I want a situation where I go into the most remote place of Zambia and I find that a child is using a device to learn, to connect to the rest of the world, because we really underestimate the power of the internet. The second issue that I think is obviously a problem, and this is not really a problem, but something that we need to be mindful of, and it's a global issue, is obviously how we're going to protect the information that we're putting out there. We have different social media accounts. I put my information on social media. Anybody has access. Maybe if it's in platforms where you have to accept friends, sometimes we accept friends who we don't really know. Yes. So you find that you think it's a friend, but it's somebody who's spying. So how are we going to then ensure that our data is safe and our cybersecurity solutions are up to date, especially for anybody who has information about any person across the globe? So drilling down to our situation in Zambia, obviously it's important to understand how are we protecting our data. So obviously that is a concern. The whole world is becoming connected now. So it doesn't mean that when you produce your passport somewhere, somebody won't be able to access this information somewhere else. So we want to ensure that this information is secure. We want to ensure organizations that are getting people's information, even when these days when you're buying something in a normal store, a chain store, a distribution store, you'll find that they'll ask you for your email address, they'll ask you for your contact number, but how are you protecting this information? So obviously that is critical. But one that really is so close to my heart that sometimes gives me sleepless nights is about how we are being responsible about how we're using the internet. And this obviously spans from a young girl or a young boy having access to the internet and putting the wrong information about themselves on the internet, or misleading, or any information that will be detrimental to them in the future. So this child or this adult needs to understand that whatever we put on the internet is going to stay there forever. Somebody is going to get a screenshot. Somebody is going to download that. So it will always be there somewhere around the world. So we really need to educate, especially our children, about how responsible they should be about using the internet. Like I said, it connects us to the rest of the world. So something that I do now, and I post on maybe one of our social media pages, is going to be in Australia within the next time I click the button. It's going to be in Australia. It's going to be in America. It's going to be in Japan. It's going to be wherever in the world. So we really need to be careful. I think children need to be educated about what to do and what not to do on the internet. I think personally that's a drive for me as a person in tech and also a person who is selling tech solutions. It's one of the areas that I feel we really need to bump up. We really need to see how we can reinforce those ideas of responsibility.
Thank you so much, Mpeza. That has really, really been insightful. And I'm very sure the general public out there have really quite a lot of things to pick out from this interview. We're wishing you all the best. And thank you so much for joining us on Financial Insights. Congratulations on the award.
I'm
sure everyone home is very, very excited and very happy to see Mom just grabbing an award at this year's grabbing an award as the best top salesperson. Thank you so much for joining us.
No, thank you so much. It was great to be here, and thank you to everybody who voted for me. Like I said, I was completely overwhelmed. So I'm totally grateful for the opportunity, and I won't let you down. This is just the beginning, Chimwemwe.
Yes.
You better get used to seeing me in the studio, because ideally we want to win more awards. We want to ensure that we have children who are responsible out there when using the internet. So thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much, dear viewers, for staying tuned. Our guest on today's episode was Mpeza Mbewe. She recently won an award as the Top Salesperson Internet Providers Award. My name is Chimwemwe Lungu, and I have been your presenter. Do not forget to get interactive with us on all our socials. We are on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and also Twitter, better known as X. Thank you so much once again, and remember, get to know us.